Welcome to another Wheelchair Wednesday here at the Wheelhouse. It is Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. And today, we have a special guest coming to us all the way from the great state of California. But before we get to her, you know what we got to do? It's hit the intro. Welcome to Wheelchair Wednesday. All right, y'all, let's welcome to the stage Miss Amanda Billy. What is going on?
A lot, man.
Yeah, I hear you there. Well, we're going to get into all that and more. Now, this is a live show, so if we do get somebody who chimes in and they have any questions, they can ask. If it's, along the lines of what we can talk about online, then we'll ask them. Otherwise, it's freestyle. We're just going to go with the flow. I'll ask you 10 questions. You just answer them as honestly as you can. We're going to start out by introduce yourself, tell people where you're from, and how your injury happened.
Okay, my name's Amanda, and I'm 41 years old. I got in a bad car wreck when I was 15. It was the summer of my freshman year in high school, and just driving too fast. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and I went out the back window, and that's probably when I broke my neck. I have a C67 level of injury, which is considered a tetraplegic, actually. And yeah, that was in 1998.
1998. So, for those of us who are really bad at math, such as myself, how many years ago would that have been?
I'm kind of not able to do that either. I don't know. Let's see. So that's 98. So that's like 24 years, maybe.
Wow.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, anything over 20, I'm gonna say that's OG status. That's a long time. And you've made it this far, so let's give you one of these. Round of applause for that. Well, because I know a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people on this particular broadcast just about, the day-to-days and what people don't see. And, it's hard just to get by one day, let alone 20-plus years of days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you said you're a level C67, but it's considered tetraplegia. Now, what is that? What is tetraplegia? I've heard of it before, but I've never had it described.
I'm not actually a quad, which would be all four limbs, and I'm not actually a para because I don't have fine motor skill, and so I'm like somewhere in between that, and that's what they call it, tetraplegic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
With the doctors that you've had, in your opinion, what do you think they've learned over the 20-plus years that you've been in a chair?
Well, probably not enough because I try to avoid them as much as possible.
I hear that.
But I know that the guy that originally diagnosed me, when I came back a year later to the follow-up after they released me from Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, which was quite a ways away from where I live. He was in disbelief that I could actually feel the things that he said they said I wouldn't ever be able to move my wrists again, actually. Right. But so I've improved beyond what they told me I was going to in the first place. But I don't know. He kind of was like, they didn't even ask me to come do another follow-up after that first one, actually, which was kind of weird. But because they're supposed to do it every year.
Yeah, it's almost like they learn what they can learn from you, and then if you don't have any other crazy stuff happen, they just kind of throw you off to the wayside and say, hey, let us know if you need anything.
Yeah, I really feel that way. And he was like this old guy doctor, too, that was really set in his ways. And he was like doing this test on my fingers, where he would poke it with a little pin thing to see if I could tell finger.
I
He
don't
was
like that.
well, I told him I could tell him which toes they were touching, actually, which is
Right.
crazy. Because there's a major misconception about people that have that are in wheelchairs that have spinal cord injuries that they don't feel anything, and that's not true.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there because I can close my eyes and somebody can be doing stretches on my leg and I can tell you what leg they're stretching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's up, Ben Insider? Good to see you. Um, Now, the next question I got for you is kind of a tricky one. Is would you walk if you could? Now, what I mean by that is, of course, you would walk if you could, right? Everybody would. What I mean by that is, if you had to go all the way back to the time of your accident and everything that you've done and learned and loved and everything else goes back to that day, so you start out fresh from that time, would you keep going from that time on and make different try to make a different decision, or would you stay where you're at?
Well, the funny thing about that question is, as something that I've actually already always said for a long time now, and I've seen your other interviews, so I knew this question was going to come up. But I would not, because the mental there's just so much that I've been enlightened with since I've been in this position, and it wasn't always easy at all. And I went through a long period of time where I was really isolated and I didn't get out of bed,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I've totally crawled out of that hole though, and I feel a lot better. But I would not want to give up what I've gained mentally at all. No way.
Right. I like that answer. I'll give you one of those. Um, yeah, and I'm with you. I'm on the same boat, and I've only been in it for 4 years or so. I mean, it's or maybe 5 now. That was 2019, almost 5. It'll be 5 in October. But I don't know. It's kind of like a veil was lifted, and you really get to see like what's truly important. And I don't know. It was weird. Just my journey was different. Everybody's journey that they take down this road is a different type of journey, I guess. But it's always depending on your mindset and how you take it. You know what I mean? Is the way I look at it.
I would kind of compare it to psychedelics actually, because it like sharpens your perspective on life, and you get to look at life at a different angle than before, or what you're used to. So.
Right.
I gotta let the dog out.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Hey folks, this is a live show. We don't clip this stuff out. This is all real deal Holyfield type stuff that people are going through. You gotta let dogs out. Dogs need to go out. That's what's gotta happen.
I'm back.
All right, so then if you've watched this show, the next question coming up is gonna be dating/married. What are your experiences with that?
Well, I've been through different phases of that actually, but never been married. I it was really scary at first when I first was well, because I was only 15 when this happened, so
Yeah.
I
Oh
didn't
man,
really
you were
have
young.
too much. Yeah, I mean, I never have had a driver's license, or there's just a lot of things I haven't really got to do, and I'm probably not going to, but that's okay. But yeah, as far as dating, I don't know. My whole dating world really opened up a lot when I came across the Facebook dating. Are you aware of that?
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. I've heard of people meeting people off of there. I've just never dabbled in it myself, per se.
Well, I'm not like the type to go on like Plenty of Fish or anything like that, or Tinder or
Yeah,
whatever.
swipe right or however the hell that works. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never made a profile on any of those sites, but the way Facebook dating worked was really interesting, and it was pretty safe. Like it didn't make me feel vulnerable, because you don't nobody knows where you live unless you tell them, and stuff like that. I met quite a few really cool people um, through that platform, and I highly recommend it to anybody that's trying to get out there a little bit. Because it's a
Nice.
great place. You can be really specific about your preferences, and it's actually a really cool thing. I think.
So what you're saying is you've met some suitable suitors on there.
I've met some people that are going to be my friends forever on there.
That's awesome. So it's not just for like, dating or marriage or hooking up. You can actually meet people who are friends who are like,
Yeah, actually, they have us. It's like sectioned out to where you could like just be trying to meet friends. Actually, yes.
nice.
You could be really specific about what you're looking for and what you want and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really awesome.
You heard it there, folks. Facebook. What's it called? Meeting.
Facebook.
Facebook dating. There you go. Nice. What about pet peeves? So you've been in the chair for a long time. What's your? I don't know if you have a biggest one or if you just have a few of them. But what's the biggest like you could think of pet peeve that you've had to deal with throughout these years?
When I have to hear people that are able-bodied complain about things that they got to do that I wish I could do.
I'm gonna give you one of these. I'm gonna give you the because that's all the time. Like today, I wanted to get out and do a garden, and I'm just like, I wish I could just get up and shovel some dirt. I remember how easy that was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would bitch about it, like I don't want to go out there and do that. That's work. But now it's like, just let me take a shovel and go to work. I'll go until I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's probably my biggest one.
That's a good one. Now I'm going to ask you this. This is just kind of an off the cuff question that I ask here and there. You've probably had multiple chairs throughout your time in a chair. Have you ever named any of your chairs?
No, but I do have a small wheelchair graveyard outside.
A wheelchair graveyard? Oh no, that's the first time I've heard of that one.
Yeah. Well, because there's sometimes there's this one, especially on these electric chairs. Sometimes it's just like a trip in the power or whatever thing, and then it's like you just need one of those things that the manufacturers have that you hook up and then reset everything.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
there's it's still good, but it just won't drive or whatever, something dumb like that. And I have a few of those, and I don't know. I used to only use a manual chair for a long time because I felt like having a power chair was I don't know, it was stupid because it really limited me. But somebody wasn't letting me tell them no one time, and they got me. It wasn't a chair, but it was more like a scooter. It had the steering column.
Oh yeah, yep.
And when I got one of those once, and I was like, oh my god, I felt so stupid for not doing that way sooner, because I really realized how much I was limiting myself having that attitude. But not anymore.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Michael Dwayne Goalie said, I have one of those wheelchair graveyards in my garage too. So it's not uncommon, I guess. Yeah. I tried to find, when I was doing the wheelhouse here, I was trying to find parts and pieces for wheelchairs to hang up, like wheelchair wheels specifically. But you'd be surprised on how hard it is to find like used wheelchair parts that nobody wants, because everybody uses them. They reuse them. Stuff's so expensive nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about something that you wish you could do now that you can no longer do that you were able to do before?
Oh, so many things probably, but let's see. I don't know. I really dancing, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Nice. No, cool. I got that. I get that. I was an avid dancer. I can feel that. You feel the beat. You want to move. You know what I mean?
That's one thing I could think of. I don't know the other. I don't know. I'm the type of person that really wants to like. Okay, like when I have people come to my house, like I want to feed them and do stuff for them. You know, I don't. I want to.
You want to get up and
I
move. You
like.
want to be able to,
I
yeah. I get what you're
I
saying.
like catering to people and like
Hosting.
being. Yeah, and I don't. I have a hard time feeling like I'm doing that like thoroughly anymore, but I still try.
Right. For sure. Got to do what you can do. Michael Negrete said, "Yup, after 20 plus years myself, I've got a basement graveyard of chairs and parts." So I guess it is. I mean, a lot of people. I'm guessing if you've had power chairs most of your life and you just switch power chairs, like, and you work on them, that's my thing. I don't work on them. Like, I don't even work on my own cars. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't like anybody else to try to work on them either usually because I'm pretty sure they don't really know what they're doing. And
right.
I've made that before too, having somebody do stuff to my chair that they didn't really know what they were doing, and I wished I wouldn't have allowed that.
Yeah, and then it's like irreversible. Yeah, then it's irreversible, or you got to wait for another 2 weeks for the professional to come out and do it the right way.
Or even longer. I've had some pretty. Yeah, it's messed up when it's your main means of mobility and people don't really realize how serious that is.
Yeah, no, you got a point there. Absolutely. Yeah, I've had nightmare scenarios where even out in the yard, like I've been out here by myself, didn't have a phone or nothing on me, and like all of a sudden I'll go into a sandy part of my yard and I'll get stuck. And I know that I got to be very careful on my next movement, otherwise I'm going to get buried and nobody's going to find me until I'm 58 years old, stuck out here, skeleton just scarecrowing in the
That
wind.
just reminded me of all the times I've been stuck out in my yard because I kind of live in a very rural area. Like there's not sidewalks. I live on a ranch actually,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, it is beautiful here, and I appreciate it every day, and I'm so thankful. And the stars at night is the biggest thing because if I lived where there was sidewalks, I would have street lamps too, probably, and I wouldn't be able to see the stars so well.
Right.
But and I wouldn't want to trade that in for sidewalks
That right
either.
there is worth the price of therapy. I tell you that, probably.
I Yeah, you're right about that. But I have a great big fenced in yard. I have a bunch of dogs that I live with and cats. There's chickens here and horses, and we used to have a bunch of cows, but not this year. And but I've been stuck out in the yard so many times. Or how about that gravel when it's the gravel's like too deep and it's like the wrong size and you stop in the middle of it and then
Oh, and
you
then you're
can't
stuck.
keep going after. Yeah, I've had to sit outside and yell for help for a while, and then the neighbor across the street heard me and came over.
I just got
Yeah,
anxiety thinking about that. I'm over here like, no. Oh man. Yeah, yeah. There's certain scenario, and that's the thing is like when anybody has something to say about somebody in a wheelchair, the only thing I gotta say is spend 24 hours in one and then tell me something. You know what I mean? Like, especially like
yeah.
things like that, little things like that, you don't take into account, like getting stuck, nobody being around to help you, or like I've seen people fall over before and lay there for a half hour. You know what I mean? Till somebody came along.
Oh, yeah, I've been there too. Actually, too many times. Actually, I was one time. I was. This was a little bit of a different scenario, but my friend one time was really well. It was St. Patrick's Day weekend, and we were kind of having a party at our house, and my friend wanted to take me out of down the driveway and up the road from where we lived to, and then up this hillside. This was when I weighed like a buck 20, though I've gained a lot of weight since I quit smoking cigarettes and stuff. But um, uh, I we got to this place to see the sunset, and then we were going back home, and there was like a rut in the road or something. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and he was pushing me kind of fast. Actually, he was running, and
Oh
my
goodness.
wheelchair stopped. My wheelchair stopped, and I kept going, like head first into this ditch. And the neighbor guy was like, "Oh my god," because he was out there watering his yard. I hit my head. I had a little bit of a mark, a little bit, but I was fine. But I mean, stuff like that happens. One time, oh my god, I gotta tell this story. One time, I had this friend that I met while I was in the hospital. Her name was Rebecca Grimm, and
Shout out
she,
Rebecca.
yeah, I haven't talked to her for years, but she lived. She last I heard, she lived in West Virginia. But
West
she,
Virginia.
yeah,
Sorry.
but she came out to California because we met and became friends in the hospital out here. She was actually, her and her boyfriend wrecked on, uh, they were going to Mexico, I think, and they were like fugitives from Indiana or something. I'm not sure exactly, but they both got paralyzed. And it's interesting story. But anyway, she came out here and she had an apartment in Roseville. She had full use of her arms and her hands, though, so she was a little more
We got to look
independent
her
than
up,
I was.
Amanda. We got to find her.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. I miss her all the time. She's quite a character. But anyway, I this is kind of a personal story, but I was in. She had like this fully like handicapped bathroom, and so I was in this manual chair that we used to go in the shower and whatever, and because I was like, Rad, I could actually do this by myself, I don't need any help. And so I did it all, and then I came out, and it was just me and her there. So I wasn't dressed, and I was in this wheelchair, and I actually slipped out and fell onto the floor.
Oh
And
gosh.
she was sitting on her couch, and she's like can transfer herself, get up from the floor onto the couch, like she's all buff and stuff. But anyway, she had to get on the floor and help me push me up onto the couch, and I'm like trying to pull myself up, and she's like pushing me, trying to push me up, and I almost was gonna give up, and she goes, no, just one more time, and we totally got me up there. But that was kind of a crazy situation. Like, I
Dang.
was thinking
Yeah.
to myself, how else does something like this ever happen to somebody?
Right. Well, just I mean, getting out of your chair alone, for a paraplegic is a hard thing, but for a tetraplegic or a quad, it's something like that. Like I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? Especially with another
Yeah.
person in a wheelchair there trying to help you. There's two people in a
It was
wheelchair. Like, come on. Right.
but we did it. We did it though.
One of our live viewers, Michael, said a friend of his got stuck in his front yard for hours in his power chair during a rainstorm before someone found him and brought him in.
Oh
Man,
man.
I can only imagine. You know how they say don't get these things wet? Like that's the only thing you got to worry about getting wet is your computer, your main little joystick thing.
Right, or wherever the box is. Like sometimes they're on the back, or sometimes they're underneath the seat.
Right.
But I've had to get towed out of the mud with the car before.
What? Damn! What hogging Amanda out there? What type of power chair do you got?
It's a Permobile.
Nice. I like Permobile. That's my squad. That's my gang. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give him one of these. Permobile gang.
And for the record, I highly recommend never to get one of those mid-wheel drive chairs. Those, unless you live in the city
Oh yeah.
and have and unless you have a ADA approved house, you will mess your house up with one of those chairs because it's so bulky, and there's just so many. I don't know.
It's like a
I
sharp
can't-
brick with wheels.
Yeah, it sucks. You can, if you go into my kitchen, you can look in the room and see a mark all the way around the whole room, like where I'm like, you know what I mean?
Don't worry, I'm just redecorating over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since we completely abandoned the questions there, let's go back to the. No, it's fun. I'm having a great time. It's fun. So this is an important question for me because I'm always interested in other people's stories. Is any pain What's your pain level like?
Oh God. Well, I have a lot of pain that's like doesn't. I don't think it means anything. Like it's neurological. Like
Nerve pain,
I
yeah.
get like weird. Like I get like weird things. Like it'll feel like my pinky toe is just totally like disfigured and like broken off or something, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Um, I don't. I don't. I don't really. I feel a lot of pain actually. I can't. I can't
You can't pinpoint
measure
it, or
if
like,
I
or is it?
actually. What?
Is it? I'm sorry. Is it like in a specific spot, or is it kind of just like?
It's all over. Like it's different places all the time. Mostly in my legs. Because I don't really have too much pain anywhere else, honestly. But my legs and my feet are like I get a lot of ankle and knee stuff, and I don't know. There's just all kinds of different bad sensations that happen. Really.
Do you have any
Yeah.
hardware in you?
Do I what?
Have any hardware, like anything in your back, like
Oh yeah, no, I have a titanium in my neck from C5 to what's after C7? Is that where T1 starts? After C7?
You know what? You're calling somebody out that has not studied that. I'm not sure. Who else watching in our chat can tell us? If we have somebody in the chat that knows better, I don't know.
I think C7 is the last C, and then it starts at T1. But yeah, I have a titanium one vertebrae above and one vertebrae below where my break was, and yeah, so I have that there, and then I also have. Well, I broke my femur one time.
Oh.
I have a steel bar in my leg now, but otherwise that's all.
Right. See, I think a lot of us too with the hardware. I've noticed like there's a lot of pain where the hardware is. So it's like at the point of injury or where that stuff's introduced in your body, you'll feel it like on a rainy day, or if a storm's coming, like it'll feel even worse, like kind of like arthritis. Do you ever get that?
Well, no, not yet. And I've heard that too, but I haven't really had that experience myself, luckily. But that's good. I'm glad I don't.
Next question I got for you is what helped you the most after your injury? What was the biggest help for you?
Oh, well, definitely the support of the people that were around me, my family and friends, for sure. For sure. Because if it wasn't for them, I don't even know what I'd do. Still today, I feel like I feel lucky to have the people around me that I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Family was a big help. It's always a big help. I mean, friends especially. Anybody that wants to come around and lend a hand, or just be there to talk to. You know what I mean? Next question is, what about your hobbies? Before, are they the same after, or is it different?
Well, gosh, that was so long ago.
I mean, you probably found new stuff to do, obviously, but like, what did you used to do back then? I mean, were you like really into sports or?
No, but I have always really loved music, and that's a major thing for me still. Because I do that internet radio thing on the Mix Internet Radio. I do a DJ broadcast and play music for people.
No way. You do a DJ broadcast on iHeartRadio?
No, it's the mixinternetradio.com.
Oh, okay. Still, that's pretty cool. I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, you should. It's really cool. We got a bunch of awesome DJs on there, but I like to play everything. And I always want to take requests because that's important to play what people want to listen to.
Oh yeah, but absolutely.
I'm DJ Randomizer.
DJ Randomizer. You're gonna go back and watch this, and it's gonna sound completely different to what you thought it sounded like. I bet you.
Okay.
I'm hitting all these buttons and stuff. We're making it fun.
That's cool.
So yeah, we're gonna put that inside your description. So we'll have like a link whenever you get that. You can send it to me. Usually after these things is when I put everything together. Then we'll throw that online, so everybody can see it. I'm sorry. Did you have something else to say to finish that off with, or?
I'm gonna say, and we're hiring right now too. So if there's anybody,
It's a
that
paying
wants to-
gig.
no, but we are looking for new DJs. It's totally voluntary, but
Hey, but that
you
can
never
still help
know
you get out, though. I mean, you know what I mean. You never know. For something.
Yeah.
Yep. And anything, if you think about this, anything somebody's listening to or it's out there is always a source of information. You could always advertise. You could do. There's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah.
Next question I got for you is travel. What about traveling? You like traveling?
Oh, I long to go far away places, but I don't feel like it's in the cards for me. I actually barely even go anywhere locally. To be honest, I don't know. It's hard to go places, and it's hard to have the right kind of vehicle that you could go in. First of all, I don't know. I really am drawn to foreign places, though, for sure. But I don't think I'm ever really gonna.
I feel like there's enough stuff that I've never been to. I mean, you never wanted to go check out like Mount Rushmore or like go to like different places in America.
Well, yeah, and I'm totally down for road trips for sure. But I mean, I've been to Montana. But that's not very.
That's where Mount Rushmore is, right? Montana? I don't know.
I think it's right there somewhere, but that's as far as I've been as far as in the United States. But and I've been down to Utah.
You want to get on a ship and go to the Bermudas or the Bahamas or probably something exotic.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I kind of got some hang-ups about those cruise ships.
Oh yeah, you won't catch me on one of those. I'm good. Nope, not no more.
Yeah.
Or a plane even nowadays. Nowadays the planes, you got slides coming off, doors are popping out. That's a whole nother episode though, I'm telling you.
I know my mom moved to Hawaii this year, and I don't know. I feel really uneasy about flying over the ocean, really.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. You're not alone in that. Trust me in that. You are not alone. Another thing about travel before I get to the last question is always for me it's long distances. In Michigan, our roads absolutely suck. We have like potholes everywhere. We're doing a lot better on fixing the roads now, but like if there's roads that are really bumpy and really hard to travel, I want to get out of the car like sooner than later. You know what I mean? Like bouncing up and down and just because I'm a T3, T4 complete. And I'm always in pain. Like my back always hurts. It doesn't matter if I drink a ton of water, take all my medication, but it's just the traveling itself. I can just see taking a toll. You know what I mean? Like traveling certain distances and then just wanting to rest for a long time. So that's kind of why I haven't made it out, but it's different for everybody. You know what I mean? It sucks. So you're right though. There is so much you want to do, but the thought of like, I don't know how we're going to get there. It's going to be like expensive. We're going to have to find ADA places to stay.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, really.
Yeah, for sure. My last most important question to you of the day, which you already know it was coming, is if you could give some advice to a newly injured person laying in a hospital bed right now watching this episode, what would your best advice you could give be?
Well, ultimately, of course, don't give up. But I don't know. I think if I could do it over from the time when I got paralyzed, I would have stuck to my physical therapy probably better, and because I actually have pretty severe spasticity, and I know that would be better if I had been doing that all this time. I mean, I get pretty good therapy anyway, just like doing normal stuff, everyday stuff anyway, but it's still not the same. And
Right.
I didn't really have very, because I live up in the mountains, kind of, so, or the foothills anyway, and there's not very many specialists that know how to do stuff, so I didn't really have very many options of therapy type things unless I wanted to commute very far. But stretching is probably really important,
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
I wish I would have been doing that more. But and also like um, medication. You brought up medication a second ago, and it reminded me of something. I don't take any medication anymore. I used to take a lot, and I've even had some issues with some of my medication, and I think I was unnecessarily prescribed some things that I mean, I asked for it too, so it's not like I'm innocent in
Kind
the
of
whole
gotta,
thing. I'm
kind of
not,
like you gotta be careful of what you're asking for and getting into. Yeah.
well, because I'm not, yeah, I know that it's easy to get certain medications, like, the stuff everybody always wants, because there's kind of a problem with, like, opiate type drugs and where I live, and it wasn't so bad when this was happening to me, and I had this prescription, but I there's a couple of years of time where I don't really remember very much, and I'm glad I decided to stop doing that. But
Right.
yeah, but yeah, so you got to be careful with that, I think. Also, when I first came home from the hospital and I had like a lot of medication that I was prescribed to take, and none of them were the good kind, quote unquote. But I was sick all the time. Like I threw up like every day at least once. And my dad was like, "It's because all those pills you're taking," and I'm like, "What?" And then finally, we got a hold of an herbalist, and she asked for a list of my medications, and she looked up like uh, herbs that were for the same things that my medicine was looking for, and or the same thing that the medicine did.
Yeah, we're supposed to be helping with. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when she was doing that, she realized that some of my medications were having adverse effects, like with each other. Like I was being prescribed stuff that together were having bad reactions, and
Right.
so that was, and I quit taking all that like cold turkey, and I felt better almost immediately, like the next day. So that was
So yeah,
really
that's a
kind
good.
of
That's something I've never heard brought to the table too. Is kind of like be careful of what you're taking and like what you're asking for if you're asking for
I,
different things.
it drives me nuts when people don't understand what their medication is for or why they're taking it
Or
and
do
what
some
it's
research
supposed,
on it, right? See what other people are saying about it, right?
because it's, I mean, we put so much trust in our doctors that they know what they're doing, but they mess up too sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is good information, good advice. Well, I want to thank you for coming on today, Amanda.
You're welcome.
We appreciate having you, and we're gonna keep you on the list as what we call wheelchair familia, which is wheelchair mafia family. We already know wheelchair. What? Oh, sorry. There we go. I had to hit that. Sorry, I have buttons over here. I'm hitting. We're getting it all together here. After 60 episodes, you think I'd be able to do it smoothly. I want you to stay with us. Everybody else, if you're watching, we actually have another live going to be going on here shortly with our next Wheelchair Wednesday guest. Back to back today for Wheelchair Wednesday. Amanda, stay with us, and we're going to get all your information. Everybody else, we'll see you on the next Wheelchair Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time here in a couple minutes.